There is nothing that we are seeing today that could not have been predicted 8 years ago. It is the inexorable outcome of a certain path that the industry has been on, that the business model has been on, that metrics have been on. It's a path. It's a simple road that we're leading to the edge of a cliff. The issues around TV news fundamentally come with the way the industry is structured and has been structured. Carriage fees, subscription money, advertising, TRPs, the number of boxes. What do you take to be successful? There's a number of building blocks. When you put it all together, it is clear that the only answer that everyone would arrive at will be exactly what we are seeing today. Let's understand the business model of television news.
Yes.
TV news channels don't get subscription money. Instead, they pay carriage fees to the cable operators that are carrying you. This is not new. This has been there for a decade. That's part one. Part B, everything has to be derived and generated, therefore, through advertising. How do you get your advertising? You get your advertising through TRPs. How are TRPs measured? Now, in India, TRPs are measured by 30,000 boxes in a country of 1.3 billion people. How many of those boxes are likely to be in English-speaking homes? For example, let's look at English news and we'll come to Hindi news. Right. Similar problems. Right. Let's look at English news. What would be your guess? If 30,000 boxes are measuring 1.3 billion people, how many of those boxes are likely to end up, in your view, in a house that is really comfortable with English?
Let's say about 5 to 10%?
Probably less than that. I mean, okay, maybe you're right. Take 10%. Take 5%, okay? Those are a number of boxes that are actually measuring a discussion, which will measure a discussion like this. Oh, is social media good or bad? Should foreign direct investment happen or not? What do you think about the moralities of gay marriage or abortion? Whatever it is.
Right.
How many people are understanding that?
A very small section of boxes.
So 200 boxes are in places that are measuring that sort of a discussion where you have a chance of registering. Now look at that small box. Let's say you get 50% of the people in that small box. Let's say you get 20% of the people in the big box. Who's going to have more TRPs? You have no other revenue source other than advertising. Advertising comes from TRPs. TRP comes from 30,000 boxes. The only way, because of what I have just said, to get those TRPs is to be hysterical, to be shrill, to shout, to do sensationalism, to do sunsini, and to get into echo chambers, to preach to a particular thing. Now that's why social media exacerbates it. But given that this is the model that is existing in the country in television news, why are you surprised that this is not what's happening? This is what's happening. And that's why I quit TV news.
If you're saying that the TRP vicious cycle sets the rules of the game, and are you saying that TV hosts and the people that viewers inherently direct their anger towards, right? Because it's not necessarily the holding company or the corporates behind it, but it's the person on screen saying X, Y, and Z that gets the attention. Are you saying that these TV hosts are mere cogs in a much larger wheel and that they have very little agency over the lens that which their shows look at certain topics with and the narrative that they push out in their shows?
No, a lot of these people are former colleagues of mine and we work together, or friends of mine or whatever. So each to their own is the first thing I would say. However, I don't think you can ever say that people don't have agency. You can always take the decision that I don't want to do it. Right? There are enough people who've quit TV news because they feel that they would not want to play the game, right? They don't want to go down that route. So that decision is always open to people. It's open to reporters, it's open to anchors, it's open to business executives, it's open to everybody. Now, some of the people who are taking those calls and all of that are also very powerful, influential people. Some of them have their own, agencies also. So that's their call. Many of them are the editors or the managing editors or the proprietors or whatever of the operations that they're running. So it's their decision. All that I'm trying to say is that there's a reason why they're taking the decisions they're taking. It's not necessarily because they're bad, evil people or because they're irrational or because they're crazy or because any of that. None of the above. They've sat down, in my view, and looked at, okay, these are the rules of the game.
This is what I need to get.
And this is what you need to do. If you're playing an IPL match and the rules of the game are that you need to hit 7 sixers in the last 3 overs and you're a person who's batting at number 6, I'm just giving you an example, right? And if that's what the rules of the game are dictating, then you'll come in and try and hit a 6. You won't play a forward defensive shot. That's logic. Now, should they be doing what they're doing and can they be doing something else? Yes, obviously. I mean, I would believe that.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm not doing it.
I'm at a very different stage in the journalism, in my journalism journey, so to speak, than where you are. And the way we look at it, TV news is something that can make you famous. It's something that's glamorous, and being in front of a camera as a journalist is something that a lot of people aspire towards. At the same time, honest reportage could get you killed in the country. What advice do you have for young journalists or young editors like ourselves who are looking to make it in the industry, make a respectable living out of it, and do good work when the balance is sort of skewed between running behind the money and the business model aspect of things and doing honest good work, but fearing for your safety, given the institutions that we currently have?
In the high point of TV journalism in India, which I would say was maybe the 90s, right? 90s and the first half of the 2000s, which was a really heady time. TV journalism was coming, and a lot of really, really good work was being done, and first-time shows were being coming up, and accountability was being enforced. That was the golden age. It's interesting that in that golden age, all the people who were the so-called most famous anchors at that time, do you know what we used to fight about all the time? What were the fights that we used to have? Like every single time I heard a fight with Barkha, what was the fight about? Or if Barkha had a fight with Rajdeep, what was the fight about? Or whatever, right? Most of the time, the fighting was about, I want to go out and report in the field and do a story. It was never about, I want to sit in the studio and anchor because my face is on television. Anchoring was almost like a chore. If you want to be a journalist and a reporter, and that's what interests you, and that then you're doing it for a very different reason. You're not doing it for richness. You're not doing it for money. You're not doing it for fame. You're not doing it for anything else. You're doing it because you have a certain passion for the truth, for the story, for the news, for finding out what the hell is actually happening out here. Has that era passed in television? Yeah. My unfortunate gut feeling, yes. I think that era has passed in TV, and I think a lot of the people getting into TV are going to be asked to choose. Just when I was giving up hope and saying, "Man, TV news is dead," I started seeing this on social media, and then I switched on a TV channel for the first time in a long time. Couple of young girls, really good work in Hathras, really good. I don't care. I need to find out what is happening there. I want to go in there. I want to get into Hathras. I want to go there. I want to find out. I want to know, why are you burning this lady's corpse in the middle of the night, not relying on handouts, not being scared of the police, saying, you want to arrest me, go ahead, arrest me. I don't care. I want to find out what the news is.
Absolutely.
I was really heartened by that, and the fact that channels are putting that on.
Super.
So, hey, maybe it'll turn around. Maybe the worst is behind us and good things will happen.
That's what we can hope for, I guess. Thank you so much for doing this. And
anytime.